Good afternoon, Revolución Educativa. My name is Edgar Palacios, and I'm the founder of RevEd. Our organization is really focused on really thinking about how do we build collective and sustained power within the Latino community around issues of education. We are honored and excited to be here with a candidate today, Pat Contreras, who we're actually having a casual and impromptu conversation. We saw you walking the streets here,
yes, sir.
Doing the door knocking and whatnot, doing the organizing, making sure you're talking to the community. And so we thought we would take an opportunity just to talk to you a little bit about your work, your platform, who you are, and whatnot. And so, hey,
Perfect,
thanks
man.
for being here,
Thank
Pat.
you. I really appreciate it, man. Thank you for all the work that you guys do. You do instrumental work here in the community.
Thank you for that. For those of us that don't know you, tell us a little bit about who you are, what you're about.
Sure. Appreciate it. Again, thank you again for the opportunity. Everybody viewing online, I hope you're doing well. We were out here knocking doors here in Northeast, as we have been doing over the last couple of months, all across the city, talking to voters, learning from voters, because what I want to do as a leader is take that neighborhood level learning, that community learning to Jefferson City. One of the things that I hear at the doors all the time is that there's a yearning and need for just new leadership and change. People are tired of being unheard. They feel that there's so much dysfunction going on in our state that they are out of control. And what I want to do is take that learning to Jefferson City to get solutions for Kansas City. People want results. They're tired of the dysfunction.
Yeah.
They're tired of the partisan bickering, and they just want results. And some of the things that I keep hearing from that are most important to this community, lowering the cost of living. Right now, Kansas City is it's almost unaffordable. Folks need more housing. Folks need more support when it comes to even things such as healthcare, access to healthcare. We're in the midst of also a mental health crisis, and a lot of folks need to just know that they can count on their state and their elected officials. And I'm running to be that state senator to represent all of Kansas City, which means so much to me because I grew up on the west side. I have had family in the Northeast. I have family in South Kansas City. And over the last 8 years, I've been working to build schools and hospitals and clinics and things that are impactful to our community, delivering results, creating good paying jobs, and helping people in need. And that's why I want to go to Jefferson City, is because our city needs a leader who can execute and get things done.
Tell us what race you're running.
So I'm running for State Senate, Missouri's 7th District. This district was recently held, the State Senate seat was held by Senator Greg Razor, former Senator Greg Razor, who has endorsed me in this race, and who knows this seat better than anyone else is the senator that just left that seat. He got appointed by Governor Parsons to the tax commission, which freed up his seat. And I threw my hat in the ring because I've always wanted to be in public service. I had a previous career in public service. I worked during the Bush and Obama administrations as a commissioned foreign service officer. So I've served our country overseas, did 2 tours in Pakistan, did a tour in Mexico. But that gave me a unique perspective on conflict resolution and getting things done for our country and helping protect our borders, protect American interests overseas. And I signed up for that job because I want to go into the most difficult environments to get things done. That's why I signed up to go to Pakistan. And that's why I'm signing up for this, because there's a difficult environment in Jefferson City. We've seen the dysfunction. And what this election is about change versus more of the same. Yeah. And if you want change, I want to work with you. If you want better results for your district or for your people or your community, that's the leadership and mindset that I will take to Jefferson City.
I'm curious. We think a lot about Latino representation at RevEd and the importance of having Latinos in positions of power and influence, not just at the local level, but at the state level and even at the national level. And so tell us a little bit about your background, your heritage. How is that going to show up in the decision making at the state?
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's a good question. And I have, hardworking grandparents and parents that provided a way. My grandfather was a World War II veteran and came to Kansas City and lived in the Northeast and lived on the west side and built a home for my grandmother on the west side. Yeah. They built a home on the west side on Madison Street. And he built the basement, ran out of money to build the second floor, just put a flat roof on top. And that was where my family grew up, on the west side. And I have a strong foundation. My dad was a union man. He worked hard, kept the lights on, worked at Kansas City Power and Light. And my mother, lifelong public servant. She worked at the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers and still works to this day, helping our city. So I think that commitment and family history of public service and community first has been in my blood. And I want to honor my family in elevating voices in Jefferson City because of the hard work and the foundation that my family had built for me to have an opportunity to be the first to go to college, to be the first to attend an Ivy League institution, to serve my country overseas, and then even come back and have the opportunity to run for state treasurer. I was the first Latino to run statewide in Missouri history in 2016, garnering some of the most impactful endorsements from political leadership, civic and business groups, and news outlets all around the state. And that's what laid the foundation for an opportunity like today. So when this opportunity arose, I was ready to go. Yeah. And I have a track record and the receipts of getting things done for our community. I've been in this community delivering on results. And over the last 7.5 years, I've delivered almost $1 billion of economic impact in construction work in good paying jobs, creating good paying jobs, helping support minority and women-owned businesses, and helping support various community initiatives, whether it's helping schools succeed, helping build one of the urban core's only free women's health clinic, or even a workforce training center that I helped build on 29th and Troost, which are instrumental as we think about the future of Kansas City and preparing our city for success.
As you're talking to the community, as you're knocking on doors, what's the most pressing issue that you're hearing our community kind of share with you? What is it that they want you to go and fix and solve?
First and foremost, again, it's people want leadership and they want change. They're tired of business as usual politicians, business as usual politics, and a government not working for them. And that's where I differ in this race, is I'm ready to get things done, and I have a track record and receipts of getting things done. Also, I'd be the first U.S. diplomat ever to be in the Missouri legislature. And at a historic period of dysfunction where the legislature has passed the least amount of bills in Missouri's history, this is the time when we need diplomacy. We need someone to go in there and to be able to work across the aisle and get things done for Kansas City and fight for Kansas City's fair share and more. And that's what I want to do, is to make sure that I'm fighting for those folks that largely feel unheard, underserved, or just, look, I want my elected officials to work for me. And that's what I want to do. Number two, I've heard it time and time again. Missouri women want access to abortion again. And what I plan to do is this November is when the initiative petition and folks vote to put that empowerment back into women's lives and give them that right back. And that's enshrined into laws. I'll do all that I can to protect that right, because women want access to abortion in Missouri. And then number three, I think, one of the biggest things that I keep hearing from is just how do we continue to fight for all of Kansas City. It's a very, very diverse district, right? It captures the Northeast. It captures downtown Kansas City, Missouri, the West Side. It captures Midtown, Westport, the Plaza, Brookside, Waldo, all the way to Grandview. It's a very, very diverse district. A lot of cultural, political, racial cleavages. And what I want to do is represent all of those districts, because we need someone who can lead from deep understanding. And for me, I lived in the district. I've seen what it's like. I've experienced it. And I think that experience is so important when we think about leading at a high level in Jefferson City and getting things done. And that's what I want to do, is be a results-oriented leader. I have the track record and receipts of doing it, and I want to do that for our state.
I'm going to pivot a little bit for us. So we really care about education, right? And part of our work is thinking about how do we create the necessary conditions for the advancement of Latino youth, right? Typically, we partner with educators, we partner with parents and caregivers, we partner with young people themselves and allies. And so Latino students are the fastest growing student demographic in K-12, not just in Kansas City, but across the country. That's right. And we're also seeing that we have some challenges there, right? We're seeing that we're challenged with issues like language access, funding for quality educational experiences for young people, right? Also, there's a lot of conversations at the state level around DEI and what does it mean to, talk about diversity, equity, inclusion in these spaces, right? So some of those things are being threatened, will be harmful to our community. That's right. So I'm curious, where do you stand on education? Like, what do you think you can do to improve the quality of education that our young people receive here in Kansas City by serving at the state level?
That's awesome. That's an important component to me, because as someone who grew up as a third generation Mexican American, I know how important it is that our community has a voice. And we've seen it time and time again in this current environment in Jefferson City. Republicans putting out legislation that's trying to attack the LGBTQ community, or to attack DE&I bills, or to attack the Black and brown community. And I am going to stand up to those folks and fight for my community. I'm tired of them calling folks that look like me illegals or aliens. And I would be the first Latino in the 202-year history of the Missouri Senate to walk on that Senate floor. And again, I'm a U.S. diplomat. I've gotten things done. I've delivered in the private sector, served at the highest levels of government and in the private sector to be not only qualified, but capable of doing this job, who happens to be Latino, who could also be a voice for our Latino community. When it comes to education, I'm a product of both public and private schools, and I've been able to experience both. And I know that we need to continue to fully fund our public schools. We also need to increase teacher pay. But to your point, when you think about some of the cultural and language barriers, that's not only in education, right? That's in healthcare.
That's right.
That's in housing access. And it's a holistic approach to making sure that we have representation, we have funding available to pay our teachers, to find bilingual teachers, and even bilingual healthcare workers, as we have a healthcare shortage. So all aspects of really being responsive to the community that Kansas City serves, which is a very diverse community. And my commitment to the Latino communities, I grew up in it, I understand it. I don't understand all of it, but I want to work with our Latino community to help increase access to education opportunities for pre-K, K through 12, higher education opportunities, and as well as workforce training opportunities, because not everyone also wants to go to college. Right now, one thing that we've learned is there's 236,000 skilled trade jobs in Kansas City. I work in construction. And we know that 40% of those skilled trade jobs need to be replaced over the next 5 years. And one of the biggest stats we know is who's ready to work in those skilled trades? Women and minorities. And we need to make sure that we're lifting up those opportunities for all of Kansas City. And I would want to lean into helping the Latino community have an elevated voice, an elevated platform, so that they know where to go and they know how to survive, and not survive, but how to succeed and how to be able to support their families and go after their dreams and live a life that they have always wanted. And that's really what I want.
The hardest question that I'm going to ask you right now: what music are you listening to?
Oh gosh, man, that's a good question.
As I'm walking, what are you listening to?
Man, I listen to a little bit of everything. So if folks know, viewers know, may know or may not know, my late father was DJ Bobby C. He DJ'd at many Mexican festivals, the Fiesta Hispana. He DJ'd at many quinceañeras and birthday parties and on the West Side, and really helped ignite a passion for the arts and for community. And I have all of his vinyl. I have all of his CDs. Really? I do. And I play his vinyl, I play his CDs. And I mean, it's everything, man. My dad was a big Motown guy, big funk guy, jazz, soul, loved his cumbia, loved his tejano. So all of that kind of, that inspires me. Music inspires me. So when I think of my dad and I think of music, I think of just the culture we grew up in, and really just, it brings so much joy, and I think my dad in music brought so much joy, and that's the kind of leader I want to be as well, is bringing joy, because people just feel discouraged, right? And we're seeing just everything from the current state of affairs that seems just so uncertain. People are reaching out for help, and it's time that we ignite some more hope and more leadership and more just authentic conversations to get things done for our community, and especially those that feel unheard or underserved. I want to lift up those communities and work together with them so that we go to Jefferson City together. I'm not going to be in Jefferson City just hitting no and trying to play defense as a Democrat in the state Senate. It's moreover, how do we be proactive, creating coalitions of support all across this region so that we are going to Jefferson City together to get things done for our city.
When's the primary again?
Good question. Primary is August 6th. I believe that as of today, if I do my math right, it's 25 days from today, August 6th primary. That is the general election. This is a Democratic seat. Whoever wins in this Democratic primary will be the next senator. And I ask all the folks that are listening to go out and vote. My website is patcontreras.com. Please sign up. Please volunteer. We need your help. We're knocking doors all across this district. We're spreading the word, talking to voters all across this district, and we need your support. This is the final push, and we have a great traction. And I think we really do have the most impactful, most diverse coalition of supporters, from neighborhood groups like La Raza and Freedom Inc. to civic groups and business groups like the Kansas City Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, which is represented through BizPac, as well as labor unions and nurses and doctors and firefighters and first responders. We're talking to folks all across this district, and teachers and bus drivers, and people are ready for change. They're ready for something new. And this isn't about me. This is about Kansas City and Kansas City's future. And I hope you all would join me in voting on August 6th. I can't do it without you, and I want to do it with community, do it together.
Well, we know you're on a tight schedule, so I really appreciate you taking the time to sit with us and educate the community a little bit about your candidacy, your campaign, your platform. I know you're going to go back and go knock on some doors. So thanks for taking the time, Pat. Appreciate you.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
Get up, get top,